Hi there, welcome to Grain TV. It's Thursday, October 29th. We had a mixed day in grains. Let's take a look at the Grain Hedge trading platform and see where we closed. In Chicago, corn was up 4 cents while beans was off 2.5 cents, and wheat in Chicago managed a 9-cent advance. Let's take a look at the daily wheat chart to see how we traded. We spent most of the day in positive territory, bumping up against that 100-day moving average, which right now on D's futures is around 517. We closed a little below that, but that's 2 times in 3 days we've bumped up against there and come down. We'll see if Friday ends the streak and if we can actually get above that 100-day moving average. Some of the news out today on wheat was a mixed bag. First, with Egypt, they announced the results of their tender, and not surprisingly, the U.S. was shut out of that deal. Romania, Poland, and France all garnered some of that business from Egypt, while the U.S. continues to be shut out. In Argentina, we got news today from the exchange there that they're looking for a smaller than expected wheat crop at 9.5 million metric tons. USDA's latest forecast for Argentinian wheat comes in at 10.5 million metric tons. And then the ongoing news about Ukraine continues to be somewhat supportive and bullish. Dry weather, cold weather there continues to hamper crop development of their winter wheat crop. And so the market continues to sort of factor in some of that negative news that's hitting the former Soviet Union countries. Let's take a look at export sales. We got those out this morning, and for once we actually had all 3 markets showing positive or better than expected export sales. Corn coming in at 706,000 metric tons, above expectations of 300,000 to 500,000. Beans yet again knocking it out of the park at 2.1 million metric tons versus expectations of 1.6 to 2 million metric tons. And wheat also coming in just a hair above expectations at the high side at 550,000 metric tons, above 350 to 550. Let's take a look at the scorecard and how we're doing. And again, we see very mixed results here. In the case of soybeans, we are doing exceptionally well against pace needed to reach USDA's annual forecast. That pace is reflected by the green line on the chart here, and you can see we are continuing to exceed that pace line, especially in the last few weeks, with better than 2 million metric tons of sales 2 weeks in a row now. On total, we are 27.3 million metric tons committed for this time of year. That compares to a pace of 24.3 that we would expect to achieve based on USDA's annual forecast. If you do that in million bushel numbers, that works out to about an 85 million bushel ahead of pace mark that we are in terms of soybeans. So even though USDA ratcheted lower their export estimate in October's WASDE report, we continue to exceed that pace by 85 million bushels. In the case of corn, a much, much different and worse story. When we look at corn, we are well below pace, well below last year in terms of meeting USDA's export sales estimate for the year. In total, in million bushels, that pace is below pace by about 267 million bushels. So a very, very negative story for corn. So even though we've been trading around that 380 mark, we continue to see very, very disappointing export sales. And this morning, South Korea's Korea Feed Association balked on any new business. They had a tender out there to buy some corn, but they argued that the price was too high, and so they walked away from any of the offers that were put out there. So U.S. continues to sort of have very sort of disappointing export news. That's all we got for today on Grain TV. Join us tomorrow for the weekly wrap-up.